Robert Kennedy Jr. blames CIA for JFK assassination.
Oh, is he allowed to say that on TV?
I don't think he's allowed to say that on TV.
How could he blame the CIA for that?
He must be nuts.
No wonder they have to hide the information for another 75 years or so.
Democratic White House contender Robert Kennedy Jr. blames the CIA for the November 22nd, 1963 assassination of his uncle, proclaiming it beyond a reasonable doubt. Kennedy made the bombshell accusation about a murder that sparked many conspiracy theories during an interview Sunday with John. What does that mean?
In fact, the term conspiracy theories, I believe, was coined by one of the murderers. That's when they started saying that. After they murdered Kennedy. Oh, yeah, it's a conspiracy. You know why I say case closed? Because they're still hiding the goddamn information.
That's right. There is overwhelming evidence that the CIA was involved in his murder. I think it's beyond a reasonable doubt at this point, Kennedy said of JFK's assassination in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. The evidence is overwhelming that the CIA was involved in the murder and in the cover-up. Of course they did. That's why the CIA can do whatever they want. That's why they infiltrated every newsroom. They still are. And they control the narrative in this country. That's why everything you think you believe is not true.
I remember thinking it was, they didn't do that. Like I thought, like the Dulles brothers wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's RFK Jr. on a different podcast, but he talks about this. Watch.
Do you believe they murdered or were involved in the murder of your uncle? What have you come to personally?
The CIA, yes, they were definitely involved in the murder and the 60-year cover-up. They're still not releasing the papers that legally they have to release. But I don't think there's any doubt if you look at this huge, monumental mountain of evidence and confessions, and so many people who have confessed to their involvement. And for anybody who has doubts about that, I would recommend a book by Jim Douglas called The Unspeakable, because I think he's done a better job than anybody else at kind of assembling and distilling all of the millions and millions of documents that have been released over the past 50 years. And these revelations are released incrementally, and so nobody really takes notice of them. But when you put them all together, the story is very clear.
The story is very clear. The U.S. government's official investigation, the Warren Commission report, concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the fatal shooting, and that there was no credible, and that he was hanging by his tiptoes out of a window at the book depository in order to do that shooting. And there was no credible evidence that he was part of a conspiracy to assassinate the 35th president. The Central Intelligence Agency's own website references an article calling claims of the spy agency's role in JFK's murder a lie.
And then they go on to prove it is by releasing those papers that show it.
We can't show you the evidence.
It's like just even arguing about the bullets and shit. Release the papers.
That's right.
I've never even heard of this in a crime where like, no, you just can't see it, but it's a lie.
Yeah.
Who would you accept that from?
Nobody. You wouldn't accept that. Your theory about what we did is a lie. Well, show us the papers. No.
We're hiding those, but don't get a conspiracy idea.
How dare you? And so they invented the term conspiracy theorist to try to discredit people who caught on to the CIA's conspiracy to kill the president of the United States.
I'm still not clear on how that's an insult. Like, does the basic concept of conspiracy not exist?
Well, no, that's the whole thing. They prosecute conspiracies in court every day. They were saying Trump was conspiring with Russia, but they didn't say conspiracy. They said colluded because they knew they had already made the term conspiracy toxic.
Right.
And that meant you were nuts. If you were accusing somebody of a conspiracy, you were nuts. Yeah. So they had to accuse him of a collusion. That's why, like, what? Collusion? Oh, that's why. Because they already ruined the term conspiracy theory.
Yeah, right.
Watch my new comedy special, COVID Lies Are Funny, for only $10. Become a member at jimmydore.com. Hey, and we're going to be on tour in Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, L.A., Bakersfield, Baltimore, Rosemont, Chicago, and a lot more. Oh, and San Francisco being added very soon. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. See you there.